gets himself into third place. Oh, Gonzalez, what happened here?
We've had a gearbox technical issue, so we need you to change the engine mode back to like you would on a race start. There we go. Excellent, well done. Sorry about that, we'll look into that. Strat wise, we'll go strat 4. We're going to have to go long here now.
Oh, it's Lewis Hamilton! Oh, it's just not his Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is out. One man that has not been slowed down is Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari. Who, after Lewis Hamilton's penalty, he started in pole and he's led the entire way since. And now he's going to come through the wall of champions, take the applause and win the Canadian Grand Prix. Great work by Charles Leclerc. And Verstappen holds on to take second, Bottas is third.
You want to explain to me what the hell just happened?
Well, we had a gearbox failure on lap 1.
Well, someone's clearly not doing their job properly.
Well, you can't plan for a gearbox failure on the first lap. You just can't predict that kind of
excuses. The one race I asked you to perform in, and you gotta drop the ball.
Well, I'm sorry. I
had so many investors looking to invest in the team. So many. I had Aston Martin ready to invest as a title sponsor. And now they're looking elsewhere because you dropped the damn ball.
Crap.
Do you know how much money that would have brought in?
Well, it's just bad timing, isn't it? You can't expect this kind of thing.
It's unacceptable. What happened today?
What, you think I deem it acceptable? No, don't be stupid. We're looking into it, but we need more investment. Our equipment is very basic.
Don't come crying to me when you want more investment.
Have you seen the previous results we've had this year? Come on.
It doesn't matter how well you performed this season. The one race I needed you to perform, and you finished bottom 5 with both cars.
It's Canada. What did you expect with that kind of problem?
It's not good enough. You need to improve massively over the next few races. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking at changing things, and you'll be first on the chopping block.
Brilliant. One bad result and he's already on my case. Incredible. Probably a good thing I didn't tell him about all the damage he did to the engine, and we'll be starting at the back of the grid for the next race. But hey ho, we'll let him find that out on his own.
Bonjour and welcome to the Le Castellets for the French Grand Prix Round 7 of the Formula 1 World Championship of 2020. And what a magnificent Grand Prix circuit we're welcoming you to. Conditions are perfect, it might be lightly cloudy, but it's not too hot, and the track temperature is going to hold very nicely for the Castellet circuit. 3.6 miles, 15 turns, a huge DRS detection zone, and a long straight broken up. It has reminiscence of that Le Mans circuit, which isn't far here in the country, and also has a lot of history to it. And while we've had Paul Ricard and Magny-Cours before, the French Grand Prix is a welcome return to the F1 calendar. And France itself is responsible for many great sporting and moments and achievements. In the Formula 1 World Championships, Valtteri Bottas has a 4-point lead, as you know, over Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton is always in there, despite not finishing due to engine failure in the last race. So here is the grid lineup for the French Grand Prix. And starting pole for us today is Valtteri Bottas, who has out-qualified Lewis Hamilton again. Charles Leclerc is third and Sebastian Vettel is fourth in an all-Ferrari second row. On the third row, Verstappen leaves Alex Albon. Daniel Ricciardo is best in the Renault with fourth. Sergio Perez out-qualifies his teammate. Esteban Ocon comes down. Pierre Gasly is 13th as well. Romain Grosjean is down through an 18th. Kevin Magnussen takes a 10th grid penalty and goes down. Hector Gonzalez takes a grid penalty, as does Mick Schumacher, so both Ravenwest start from the back of the grids. So it's Hamilton or Bottas to work out who it is who's going to get the race into the very first corner. It's lights out and away we go here at the French Grand Prix. There's a fantastic stop by Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari behind. Also, it's Leclerc looks to be alongside Lewis Hamilton and has got through into second place. So Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton's being challenged by Sebastian Vettel also, and Hamilton might be able to come back. It does come back, and Lewis Hamilton gets through into second place. A fantastic start from the Mercedes, knocking out the front row, and now both Red Bulls are fighting side by side. We're watching all the action take place between them. Max Verstappen looks to be trying to go around the outside of his teammate Alex Albon. The two Red Bulls again side by side. It's Verstappen which has got through past Albon. It's through the last straight. There is the McLaren which is behind them. We'll see here it's a really long straight piece of road. So it's three abreast heading into the first corner, and Verstappen has got it. Albon who's come through, and they're holding their line side by side. This is magnificent racing, and the McLaren is also involved. So we're back up again, and all three cars look to be competing. This is me going in for a wonderful position. Verstappen in the end has to yield to Alex Albon. What a brilliant start to the French Grand Prix at the moment, and Daniel Ricciardo is challenging at the moment. One of the racing points is Sergio Perez, who is challenging. Lance Stroll was sitting behind, and Daniel Ricciardo and the Renault gets through. Renault, of course, huge support here in France that it always gets. And this is Gonzalez in the Ravenwest. A disastrous for he. Gearbox failure in Canada as well, and major damage to Hector's engine. It required a full rebuild. As a result, he was unable to take part in qualifying. So he had to take a 142 place grid penalty, which means he's at the back regardless. Bottas leads Hamilton from Leclerc. There's your top three. Vettel is fourth. Albon is fifth. Max Verstappen is sixth. That was Antonio Giovinazzi in 19th, trying to beat through as the Alfa Romeo challenges the Williams at the moment ahead of Raikkonen. And joining that battle, of course, is Gonzalez. Ravenwest has really achieved something quite special in the opening few races of this Grand Prix season, and it'll be delighted to see more of it as time goes on. And there goes Gonzalez through to the start-finish straight. So the French Grand Prix is short, sharp, powerful. Will it be Le Magnifique? This is Mick Schumacher trying to get a start on one of the Williams. Oh, collision there between Schumacher and I think Schumacher is okay. Got a history of crashing into Williamses, the Schumacher family, but seems to be okay there. This is Hector Gonzalez, and ahead of him is an Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen. So number 14 chasing down car number 7. I'm having a look at the sector times which are coming through at the moment, and I think the Ravenwest is definitely faster than the Alfa Romeo. Engine build having an effect. So 3 laps at 13. Bottas again leads Hamilton from Leclerc, from Vettel, from Albon. Verstappen makes up the top 6. It's Carlos Sainz which is challenging at 7th. Ricciardo is 8th, and the final 2 points go to Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll. Pierre Gasly, I can tell you, is 12th in the AlphaTauri. He will be a popular figure here in France. So bear in mind there has not been a race winner of French origin in a Grand Prix since Alain Prost, and you've got to go back to 1993 for that. But there is still a huge involvement in French motorsport indeed. The Renault-powered Red Bull, just that of 8 years ago, was a real power horse in the Grand Prix circuit. Renault themselves as a team of, over the years, had varying degrees of success with themselves. As a constructor, as we're looking at one of the AlphaTauris, it's Daniel Kvyat challenging Esteban Ocon and getting past him. So That's very nicely done at the moment by Kvyat, who, by passing Esteban Ocon, will have his teammate ahead of him if he can pass Esteban Ocon. Again, this is another Frenchman, and the French crowd love that. Back comes Esteban Ocon into 13th, so France 12, France 13. The moment in the lead is Finland 1, Great Britain 2, Mononesian 3. So this is the two Red Bulls duking it out. Honda Power and Aston Martins. Verstappen is behind Albon, and he's getting closer and closer to the gearbox. Max Verstappen will be looking to try and challenge in that Red Bull for a world championship. It needs to start picking up results, but we never imagined getting to round 7 in this Grand Prix season that we would be in a position in which the championships is as close as it is. Bearing in mind we're taking a little break after this. This is Danny Kvyat now. This is the Russian right behind 13th place Esteban Ocon in the Renault. You can see him there, just finding all the grip that he can. A case of just how much grip can he find though. Now that is an interesting battle back far through the grid. The racing gear has been very close. That looks to be Sainz, I think. Sainz getting past Ricciardo. Lando Norris here. This is Lance Stroll, the Canadian, ahead of him. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri behind him. And Pierre Gasly's making his move and making it stick quite fantastically. And Pierre Gasly moves up to 11th and Lance Stroll ahead of him. So a Frenchman is in the process of potentially able to get near the points. This is Sebastian Vettel in second place against Lewis Hamilton, who, no doubt about it, has been struggling this season, yet to really dominate the circuit, and he's unable to get within a second off his teammates. So they go through the chicane process, and now Vettel will have DRS and might have a run at Hamilton. Does he have enough to come through? Not through again, and they snake through. Well, this is the battle for second place, and Lewis Hamilton's got two Ferraris behind him. Some have said in Lewis's early days, particularly those in McLaren when he had the yellow helmet, he drove like Senna in his sheer ability to hold the roads, and he's going to have to produce a Senna-like defensive move, which he does do there to hold off Sebastian Vettel, but here in France, perhaps he needs to adopt that moniker of Alain Prost. Be the professor, play the points, and play the long game. But Sebastian Vettel has seen his moment and has gone through into second place. And nobody at the moment can catch Bottas, who is aiming to be the first Finnish Formula 1 World Champion since Kimi Raikkonen, and the like that's Mika Hakkinen. And Gonzalez and Kimi Raikkonen here are battling away as we look to see the battle between the Ravenwest, which is through up to 15th, from 22nd to 15th. That's a really good performance at the moment by Hector Gonzalez. He's done fantastically well. And there is the last, the current Finnish World Championship winner in 2007. But Lewis Hamilton and that Mercedes at the moment is not performing like it used to, because Charles Leclerc has DRS and may have a chance to potentially get past Lewis Hamilton again. Lovely circuit, lovely shot this is from the helicopter. You can obviously see the way in the French TVs, the way you can see the cars and just so much grip that they have, and just how comfortable they are around this circuit. Obviously long, wide runoffs, so if you do get it run on this circuit, you are forgiven, but you won't be forgiven at some other circuits that we are going to go to this season. That is for certain. Obviously a mid-season break that we have, and then we will move over to Austria for the next Grand Prix. The season really starts to take shape as we make our way through Europe and beyond, and going past and through Lewis Hamilton again is Charles Leclerc. So Hamilton is now down into 4th place, so at the moment he can't get those soft compound tyres to perform for him for whatever reason in his setup. It's working really nicely. This is Stroll and Lando Norris Racing Point and McLaren battling through. That's Pierre Gasly ahead of them. And Stroll is trying to battle through with Lando Norris as the two try to get themselves through. Ocon is behind them. So Ocon is through. And that is 10th place for Pierre Gasly. All three are battling through. And Ocon is looking to be challenging Stroll. So that's the Canadian, which is through. Now here is Gonzalez involved in the battle, which is taking place. There is a chance, and that is a wonderful move. You can see through the insides past Daniel Kvyat by. There is now into the pit. So Vettel is pitted. Hamilton is coming into pit. This will be a key moment. We'll have to watch the timings, how they do. Who comes out first? Who comes out first? Oh, it's Lewis Hamilton. That's a fantastic pit stop. And the way it's worked out, and by the result of it, Hamilton has been able to get past Sebastian Vettel. A wonderful pit stop from all the team at Brackley, and the wonderful work that they've done. Well, someone is having a great race at the moment, starting from the back of the grids. Absolutely hands down at the moment is Hector Gonzalez in the Ravenwest, number 14. And he's really brought out Spanish interest in Formula 1. Bottas leads from Leclerc and Albon. They will come into pit, you feel, very soon. Lando Norris is up to 4th at the moment by Lance Stroll, and Gonzalez has made his way through into 6th, but he will have to pit past everyone behind him. Lewis Hamilton is sitting 9th and Sebastian Vettel in 10th, so is the earlier pit stop going to work out? The traffic works out just fantastically for Hamilton, and able to jump ahead and get past Vettel. This is Leclerc with DRS, and he's got it open, and he will be catching Bottas. So Sebastian Vettel has been quicker than Lewis Hamilton today. No question of it. Lance Stroll's got Hector Gonzalez behind him into the pit, which in itself is a difficult circuit to maintain. There goes Bottas in the pits. Really, really good stop. I reckon that's a sub 3 second spot. And that it should bring Valtteri Bottas out into the lead. So we're watching at the moment the chance for the Ravenwest of Hector Gonzalez. And he gets through. Amazingly at the moment, by my calculations, I believe Gonzalez is leading the Grand Prix. Bottas is ahead of Leclerc. Hamilton is behind him in 4th. Vettel is 5th. So Valtteri Bottas at the moment, Grand Prix season is going from strength to strength. But what a moment for the Ravenwest side, particularly that of Hector Gonzalez, because he leads at the moment. The French Grand Prix, I'm sure everyone in the pit is saying to him, "C'est magnifique." But it's far from over yet. There's a lot more racing to take place. We're just over halfway distance of this race. You see the brake disc there, the ceramic brake disc, glowing red. Shows you how hot they are, and the brakes themselves. Such powerful cars. They may be light, they may have a lovely power to weight ratio, which is akin to that of the space shuttle, but it's the stopping power that is absolutely astonishing. And the biggest thing around a Formula 1 car is the faster you go around the corner, the more grip you will have. And sometimes for a lot of people that's a tricky thing to do when you're racing at GT level, or maybe even that of IndyCar, in which the downforce isn't as prominent. You can allow the car to naturally slide out and drift, but that's not always the case at Formula 1 level. You have to trust it and let it pull itself and almost hug to the road to stay down. So Valtteri Bottas is going to go through to take the lead after Gonzalez comes into pit. As I said, a brand new side, so they are the back of the team kit. And Chris Whiteman's, the team principal's made the decision and put his driver on the soft compounds after starting on the medium compounds. And you can see the blue lights flashing as he rejoins the race. That's a way of saying that there are cars ahead, but that's worked out well for Gonzalez, who's got himself up to 11th. So Pierre Gasly ahead of him, and Lando Norris is behind. This is lap 9 of 13. So is there a points opportunity for Gonzalez? He thinks so, because he's swarming at the moment. He's got softer tyres. He's got better grip. He's gone for a shorter distance. Gasly's tyres are older. And the French are willing and hoping that their man can hang on to this points position. I don't think he will. Gonzalez will have DRS, and he may have the ability to brake later and move past, which he does. And just about squeezing the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly through. And it's a fine win in the end. And that's a fine passing manoeuvre to make. So, now you're passed. Can you pull ahead? Can you motor distance? Can you look to try and challenge ninth? Or will he be held back? And that's the dangers here at DRS. Sometimes it can almost lean you back as opposed to allow you to propel forwards. But you'll have to see what Hector Gonzalez is able to do. But you can see the drivers ahead of him he's got to go after. Love this shot here. 90 mile an hour. You'd be at 3 points on your license for doing that sort of speed he was doing around that corner. And the acceleration away through. Start, finish straight. Power coming through. Up to 195 mile an hour the cars will be hitting before they break into turns 1 and 2. The chicane, and there is smoke coming out of the back of one of the... and look at that. Who is it? Oh, it's Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez. It will be out of the race. Oh, hard luck for Perez. Bows out of the Grand Prix. And with that is the safety car. So that's then going to bring all the drivers together. And that is going to bring everything set. And that'll bring us all in for a conclusion to the race, which will bunch everybody together. Will that potentially benefit Lewis Hamilton, who has not had the best of days today? But he's in third place. He's got Charles Leclerc ahead of him and Valtteri Bottas. Is it possible for Lewis to find and do the business? We shall have to wait and see. But at the moment, all the cars have got to beach up round the safety car. And when they do jump up behind the safety car, as we're on board here with Lewis Hamilton, and he's watching Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas look to chase the safety car. It'll be about keeping heat in those tyres, but the one thing it's going to do is you're going to save fuel, you're going to save tyres, but you may not have the heat in them. But one thing you will have to do is you will have the tread, so it means when you are racing again, the advantage that you're going to have from both drivers' standpoint is you'll have more fuel, you can run a richer engine, you can drive harder, and you can give your tyres a little bit more. You can afford to go things. As we look at the top 6 of Bottas, Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel, Albon and Verstappen. So that's not changed a great deal other than Hamilton losing to Leclerc since the start, the opening lap or so. One of the things you have about chasing as opposed to holding a roll. If you're chasing, if you're faster than the car in front of you, you can afford to make mistakes. But that means if you brake a bit late, you go a bit wide, you push a bit too hard, don't worry. Within 2 or 3 laps, you could be back to the same position. The pressure is always on the driver trying to hold position, the driver in the lead, because if he loses it, that's it, he's taken. Well, it's been a lovely afternoon in France. And the wine will be flowing afterwards. Always traditional in France that the red's out and the champagne's flowing and the party is set. Well, never quite the glitz and glamour and that of Monaco. Always special to watch the racing that takes place. And France always has a wonderful occasion for Grand Prix motor racing. And personally, it's an absolute delight to see it as part of the Formula 1 calendar and to see it moving away. Now, well, the cars are bunching up right behind Valtteri Bottas. So we're waiting for this race to restart. And we're waiting for Valtteri Bottas to be given the cue. And the lights are off the safety car. So the cue is coming. The opportunity to race is going to return through the final corner. We're waiting because effectively at the moment, Valtteri Bottas, 2 times race winner this season, is the safety car. We're back under and racing here at the French Grand Prix, and we've got 2 laps, a real sprint finish. And what a great restart by Bottas, who's been able to eke out a lead on Charles Leclerc. Hamilton is down in 3rd, Hector Gonzalez is in the Ravenwest, is up to wave. A magnificent drive. I'm sure Chris Whiteman, the team principal, will be delighted with that. Delighted so much, you might even excuse him for missing match of the day. Well, this is where it's going to get interesting between these drivers now, because at the moment Bottas, he's out-qualified Lewis Hamilton. He has not put a foot wrong. Barring pit stops, he's led every way. Now we're watching the rest of the drivers as they make their way through. And that's the Renault being challenged by Gonzalez for 7th. So Daniel Ricciardo in 7th place. 2 Red Bulls ahead of him. Oh, can he do it? Yes, he can. That's fantastic. Fantastic from Gonzalez. And he's made his way through to 7th. He's got 2 Red Bulls ahead of him for 6th and 5th. That has been an astonishing race, and I have to say, a quite epic performance by the Ravenwest side. They have been fabulous so far. The side which is really finding their feet at the moment in the Formula 1 World Championship, and so they start to get more points. That should be interesting. Final lap. Bottas leads from Leclerc. Hamilton is 3rd, so a podium reckons for Hamilton, and maybe that's what Lewis will have to settle for. Oh, just going wide is Gonzalez, but thanks to the runoff, he's going to remain safe, and he's going to remain right behind Max Verstappen. Look at the pace, the soft tyres, the running deep into the race, the tactics here by the team principal has been spot on. Now we're waiting to see can Gonzalez find a way past, but nobody has found a way past that man. He's staying ice cool, and Valtteri Bottas has been quite magnificent today, and he's twice a race winner this season. Some have said that he should be doing better with the best car on the grid. Well, this season Bottas is proving them true. He has driven a magnificent race, has controlled it, and has done wonderfully well, barring anything major. And I'm touching my desk right now to pray that the commentator's curse hasn't struck. Valtteri Bottas should be coming home to win again, and he does, and it's Bottas again who is a winner in France. Le Magnifique Bottas. Leclerc comes in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton gets 3rd, so a podium for him. Albon is 5th, Verstappen is 6th, 7th place is Hector Gonzalez, who drove a stunning race from 22nd on the grids. It was outstanding.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So well managed. Very well done, Valtteri.
Yes!
Well, Toto Wolff, I know, yes, won't quite come to shit. His team have got 1st and 3rd. And can anyone stop Valtteri? Because at the moment, Bottas is botting the Brit. Brilliant from Bottas. A winner in France. The whole team completely delighted with that manoeuvre, and with good reason too. Well, here is your race winner. And champagne tastes sweet. It tastes sweeter in victory. I'm sure he'll tell you it tastes much sweeter in France. And the Mercedes mechanic getting absolutely soaked as race engineer. Leclerc comes in. You can see Lewis Hamilton celebrating, but for him it is disappointment. Leclerc shows us what Ferrari are all about. Well, what an astonishing race by Bottas. Qualified 1st, fastest lap, and won the race. 26 points for him. Charles Leclerc has got past Lewis Hamilton in through to come 2nd. Hamilton is 3rd. Hector Gonzalez started 22nd, and he's there in 7th. A wonderful performance. Vettel, Albon and Max Verstappen rang out the top 6. And indeed, Pierre Gasly was the Frenchman scoring a point today. For Mick Schumacher, he made it through in 18th, so a good battling performance by him. Unable to get past Kimi Raikkonen. In the driver's standing for Bottas, he's got a 22-point lead over Max Verstappen. who has a 3-point advantage over Lewis Hamilton that remains in 3rd place. Charles Leclerc is the big winner from the weekend. He's moved ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Hector Gonzalez is up to 6th. He's passed Carlos Sainz. Spaniard beats Spaniards. And if those were to race, would it be a no Classico? Well, from the constructors' standpoint, Mercedes have a 39-point lead over Ferrari that do leapfrog Red Bull and move their way up the table. McLaren do well and they get ahead and Ravenwest through. Renault on our move, but Racing Point gets some valuable parts by Alfa Romeo. Again, Williams remain the only constructor not to score any points at the moment. But at the moment, as always, who can stop Mercedes when it looks like they've got a driver absolutely flying in Valtteri Bottas? Well, what a fantastic weekend of motor racing here in France. It's always a delight to come here, but don't worry, we'll be back after a little break at the Austrian Grand Prix. But from all of us, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.